on the black. Two very young basketball teams. They will go after each other, though. This is Nate McMillan with the ball. Iowa.
Frank, these teams coming from different directions. North Carolina State has lost their last 3, including 6 of their last 7. Iowa finished strong with 2 wins over 2 good opponents, Purdue and Illinois.
Iowa in a man-to-man defense. Washburn got it over to Bolton. There's Ernie Myers.
And that's what the North Carolina State guards will do well. Penetrate. They're not really good outside shooters. They like to get it inside the paint around the 12, 13-foot mark. Jones right there getting the start. Jeff Moe started the last couple ball games, but I think talking with Coach George Raveling yesterday at practice, he wanted a better athlete in there, quicker. He got long arms and can play the pressure a little bit better.
Andre Banks is the guy who gets it running. He's got the ball right now. He's looking at a 2-3 zone defense by NC State. And an air ball goes up. Bolton saves it to McMillan. NC State has the early lead, 2-0. Washburn with the offensive board. There's Chris Washburn.
And he's the guy we talked about at the top of the show. He's tough around the hoop. Iowa feels like defense and rebounding are the keys in this ball game.
George Raveling has moved up onto the floor level, and he's sitting on a little stool up there. Valvano, meanwhile, is on a knee at the other end.
Well, Valvano saw this layout yesterday. He said, what am I going to do? I can't coach unless I can get up and move up and down the floor.
Valvano will work him very hard. Raveling looks funny sitting there, doesn't he? He's all up there on his little throne. Look at him. He'll come into your picture right there. See him? He's sitting out. He just sticks out like a sore thumb.
Iowa in a 1-2-2, which is their trademark of the trap, and Washburn down inside again.
And we've got a foul on the inside.
If North Carolina State beats the pressure, watch here. Iowa goes into that trap. They get it down on the side to baseline. Out of that trap situation, that's normally where it's open, and Washburn can get that little shot down.
Jerry Wright. Washburn to the line, where he hits 67% during the season. Trying to finish off a three-point play. Doesn't. Iowa's down 6-0 to North Carolina State.
North Carolina State in a 2-3 zone. We were told, Valvano said he'd probably play a lot of junk defenses.
And they're really packed in. You can look at them. They're all in the paint there, or very close to it. They're going to make Iowa shoot from the outside before they come out. That'll help. Bill Jones has Iowa's first points.
Well, Jones has started 19 games this year as a sophomore. 6'7", 180 out of Detroit, Michigan.
Looks like the trap's coming up here.
Well, this is Iowa's trademark this year. North Carolina spreading it out. They're attacking it with an odd number.
We watched North Carolina State practice yesterday, Gary, and they practiced the same thing, the trap.
Well, they knew what was coming from Iowa.
It sure flustered Indiana this year, didn't it? Off the back of the rim.
Well, I saw that game, Iowa-Indiana game at Iowa, and I've never seen Indiana destroyed more by a trap than they were in that game. Iowa just completely dominated them.
And I understand today that Indiana's loss to Cleveland State was the result of a full-court press. Same kind of thing. 6-2 our score. The Wolfpack up at the top.
Aggressive defense on the zone by North Carolina.
Got Washburn in the air. Offensive rebound. Wright gets fouled on his way back up. Valvano says, what? What are you talking about? That was no foul. Come on. There's a little blood, but it's no big thing. Come on. He's Italian, in case you didn't know. He has an Italian cookbook out, as a matter of fact. 100 of his mother's favorite recipes. He says she gets a commission, 5%. If that's because she's his mother. If she wasn't his mother, she'd only get 2%.
Good look at Gary Wright. Made the third team all Big Ten Conference team.
For those of you watching via ESPN, welcome to Minnesota, where Gary Wright has just hit 2 free throws to give Iowa their 4th point of the night. North Carolina State leads the Hawkeyes 6-4 here in the early going. Hawkeyes now for the 2nd time tonight trying this trap defense, and North Carolina State for the 2nd time breaks it. That's Chris Washburn with a miss. Here comes Iowa on a run.
This is what I would like to do. They'd like to get out in the transition game. Good move, strong play by Banks.
Andre Banks with his first field goal. That was a pretty move.
North Carolina State attacking the 1-2-2 with a 2-1-2.
Shackelford loses it, and we're going to get a foul call. I don't know about that one. The official was much closer than we were. It'll go against Al Lorenzen, number 44. George Raveling doesn't know about it either. He wants a traveling call. Jim Valvano is happy. He's back down on the bench. North Carolina State started off strong, took a 6-0 lead, and Iowa has come back to tie the game 6-6.
Shackelford, a 6'10 freshman, was North Carolina's prep player of the year. Made 3rd and 4th All-American teams, so a really fine talent.
64% free throw shooter. And he misses the first. George Raveling is sitting on a little stool there right alongside the court. Washburn can't get the tip. Shackelford goes 0 for 2, and Iowa has the chance to grab the lead for the first time tonight. Now Lorenzen gets a little closer. Scramble.
Lorenzen, good little pump fake there. Got the defensive up, just could not hit the shot.
McMillan with a fancy move.
Got to point out, Nate McMillan, both North Carolina State. Oh, finish up here. Good lead pass to Jones.
Did he walk?
Might have walked.
He might have walked, but they're going to call. It might have been a foul, too, so they're going to call Iowa's possession.
I was going to say, both clubs playing with converted small forwards as point guards. McMillan, here's Jones. Good lead pass to get out there where, oh, he walked. No doubt about it.
Yeah. And there was a foul there, too. Well, it cancels itself out. Here goes Iowa back on the offensive.
Wolfpack caught a break there.
Yeah.
Or Iowa did, I should say.
Andre Banks with his 2nd field goal, and Iowa now has the lead at 8-6.
Marble, the freshman, playing that point on the press.
Bolton almost rolled that ball back to McMillan just to get away from the pressure. The shot clock has not even come close to being a factor here in the early going of this game. Both teams have moved it up in a hurry and moved the ball in a hurry.
Well, you'll watch North Carolina State work. They're an inside-out team right there. They're going to go inside. If he can't get it,
goaltending. Goaltending on Roy Marble. Washburn has his 6th point.
See, one of the reasons why he's a great athlete, great leaper. Probably see him before the night's over, Frank. If he gets away on a breakaway. Oh, Camelot. Gary Wright, man living up to his nickname there. And you know, there's something about a left-hander whenever you play him. That ball always comes out of the wrong chute. They're tough to cover even when you know they're left-handed.
The kid jumps 42 inches on a vertical leap. He does a cartwheel. Oh, there's Washburn.
Return the favor, Big Chris says.
We're even.
But Iowa fought back. 10-10 tie after they were down 6-0.
3rd tie tonight.
Well, you're going to see some plays like that when you get the press out here. If they beat the press, it's open on the backside.
Raveling up, pacing.
Raveling questioned it.
Wants the foul. Look at him work that ref.
He's an author, too. He's authored a couple of books at least. War on Boards and Rebounder's Workshop. These coaches are into everything nowadays. They don't just coach.
Raveling's really working the officials, too. He's worked 2 of them now. He wanted traveling on that call. Iowa sets up. We're tied at 10. Clock is just under the 15-minute mark here in the first half. Washburn with a steal. Here we go, 2-on-2. Oh, what a block
by Marble.
Yeah. Wow.
Andre Banks, coast to coast. Look at the Wolfpack come back.
Right back down the floor to Shackelford. He didn't know where he was, I don't think, then. And we got a Shackelford foul.
Well, he lost his court position. There's no doubt about that.
The pace is awesome so far. These two teams are going at each other. There's a timeout on the court with the score. Iowa 12 and North Carolina State 10.
Dad used to say,
when you want things done right, do it yourself.
so whether
Iowa has the lead by 2. Here's a team that beat Illinois and Purdue at the end of the season to get this bid. And they're making the most of it. Marble with a block there. Wow, what a play. And look at him go to the other end, Gary.
Great block by the freshman. Iowa turning over, likes the transition game. Here's Andre Banks, the only senior on this club. Comes in, splits the defense, takes it away from the defense, up left-handed, gets it down.
Andre Banks is a big guard, isn't he? He's a big 6'4", 185, and he looks bigger than 6'4".
Well, as I mentioned, both clubs playing with converted small forwards, really, that have developed into point guards. Andre Banks has really improved, and particularly this year has done an outstanding job in that position.
You see George Raveling looking at his notepad there. He was an assistant coach on the '84 Olympic team. You know what he says about coaches? They're overrated when they win, and they're over-criticized when they lose.
That'll be a true statement. Here's some field goal percentages early going. Iowa 5 out of 9, 55%. North Carolina 5 out of 8, 62%.
Wow. And the pace is fast. We got a fast track here.
Notice Andre Banks there is not the good outside shooter, although he's improved that shooting considerable. And he shot his best percentage this year, 51.5 from the field. North Carolina State in the zone.
Lorenzen, they're daring him to take that shot, and he didn't take the dare. Shot clock's at 6 seconds.
Good pass.
Right inside. And they reset the clock.
Good job by Banks right there. Not forcing anything. Catches the long rebound. Backs it out. Sets up. Gets in their offense. North Carolina State trying to jump in those passing lanes as Iowa reverses the ball. Good hustle by Lorenzen.
Those tight rims seem to be getting a pretty good bounce on those shots for Iowa. They've taken advantage of it to get the long rebounds.
Well, we mentioned that earlier in the day about this being a new floor, new baskets, new rims.
Roy Marble. That's his first field goal.
And you know, when Marble is playing well, Iowa's usually playing well because the results in that their press is working and he's out there making some steals and they're in their transition game.
A steal that time by Wright of the pass.
Gary Wright.
Iowa with a 4-point lead.
Wright was a transfer out of Southern California. Good hustle by Lorenzen. He's the kind of kid that he'll go down on the floor to get the basketball, get a few knee floor burns.
We got a whistle underneath on the rebound. I believe Washburn will push it out. Yesterday, Walter Lambiot made a couple of dives on the floor during the North Carolina State practice, and I went up to him afterwards and said, you know, this is a new floor. What would you give it for a burn index? And he said, boy, it's tough, about a 9. It's a brand new floor, newly waxed. The players have enjoyed it. There's a tremendous amount of traction.
Oh. Whoa! There's Gary Wright again. A great pass from Jones outside. They had it set up. Little eye contact. Perfect pass. Good timing by Wright. Good cut off of the baseline by Gary Wright on defense.
Washburn got the ball. Couldn't hold on. Good pressure by Iowa inside. You know, now that I've seen Iowa play here for about 8 minutes, I think North Carolina State will look at them a lot like University of Maryland. They got a great leaper in Wright, just like Len Bias. Some good outside shooting. Let's see if Iowa can stretch their lead to 8. They lead it by 6. We're just under the 12-minute mark here in the first half.
North Carolina State going man for man. Lorenzen goes right around Washburn as he pulls him out high.
Suppose Raveling told him to take that shot.
Well, he can hit the shot from outside. He's a good shooter from around the free throw line. Earlier
today, we did the game between Iowa State and Miami of Ohio, and it started the same way. One team jumped out to an early lead. The other team came back and then took an early lead. Then they took the lead. And back and forth it went. We'll see if it follows that script. Pretty drive by McMillan. That was Chucky Brown.
We said this is an inside-out team, and most of their damage is coming from inside.
That was Bolton's first field goal. It's back to a 6-point difference. There he is.
Boy, Marble's feeling it now. You can see him pump that fist when he came out of there at the training net.
Little trap being shown by Iowa.
The trap really hasn't hurt him. It's just slowed it down.
There's a turnover. There's a scramble. There should be a walk. The Iowa bench wants it. They don't get it. Now they've got the ball.
When they're letting them play.
They sure are. Whoa.
Valvano has just called a timeout.
Yeah, he's got to stop. He's got to stop the flood. They've stretched their lead from 4 to 6 to 8 to 10. There's a timeout on the court for the score. Iowa 22, North Carolina State 12. Has jumped out to a 10-point lead over North Carolina State. Jim Valvano called a timeout just to settle him down a little.
Well, that and the crowd is really into the game now. As we've said, it's a pro-Iowa crowd in this game, just as it was a pro-Iowa State crowd in the afternoon session because of the proximity in Minneapolis for the Iowa fans.
What about a two and a half hour drive?
Oh, it's a little longer than that. It's about 4 hours for the Iowa State fans and probably about, I'd say 5 and a half maybe from Iowa City.
North Carolina State with the ball.
This is where North Carolina State has had most of the trouble against the trap is on the half-court end. They've been attacking it from three-quarter pretty well.
10 points for Washburn early in this game. He's their leading scorer. He's the guy they will go to. Wright can't get it to drop, but we got another pushing foul underneath, and I think it's Benny Bolton who will get it. Bolton's first foul. This telecast is presented by authority of the NCAA, and any use of this program without written consent is prohibited. The announcers for this program have been approved and contracted by NCAA Productions. Transportation arrangements provided through Fugazi International Travel, the official travel agency for NCAA championships.
Well, the Iowa Hawkeyes have been doing a good job on the glass down this end, either getting offensive rebounds or getting long rebounds and getting second and third shots.
Lorenzen over Shackelford.
Well, did a good job right there. Protecting the ball, taking it away from the defense.
A follow by Charles Shackelford with his first 2 points of the night, gets NC State going again. But they still trail in this basketball game by 8 points. After taking a 6-0 lead, Iowa stormed back, went up by 10 at 22-12 when Jim Valvano was forced to call a timeout. He readjusted things, got a bucket from Washington and that one from Shackelford, and he's cut it down to 8 points now. But inside they go again. Washburn is upset. Graveline is delighted.
And that's Gary Wright's territory down there. They get the ball to him down low. He's going to be quicker than Washburn. He's going to hurt him in a man-for-man situation. Valvano explained it over there to the official. He said he's hooking him. Delightful visit with that guy yesterday, George Raveling. Nice guy. Twice the Pac-10 Coach of the Year when he was out at Washington State.
He converts the three-point play. Chris Washburn, now the big center, has 2 personal fouls. That will become a factor.
And Wright having a big first half here with 9 points.
Frank Herzog along with Gary Thompson. We are at Minnesota in the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. A beautiful facility. This is the first college games played here. Washburn.
You're in trouble when you get it down there to the big guy. As we said, he's a good offensive player around the post.
The 30,000 fans who bought tickets for this one tonight are getting a show. They got a show this afternoon in the 2 preliminary games we had. Won by Michigan and Iowa State. There's Lorenzen again. This time Marble. He's fouled on his way back up.
Well, Lorenzen really forced to change his shot that time. Went up there hard. There you see the action. Lorenzen goes up, pumps, still up there. Forson darts it up just a little higher. You see how high it went up off the glass. And Marble coming in. Again, the Hawkeyes hitting that offensive glass.
Now, to Jim Valvano's credit, this time, instead of yelling at the refs, he yelled at his players inside, most notably Benny Bolton and Chris Washburn, because they've got that zone packed back in there in the lane, but Iowa's still getting in there.
Well, I mentioned before, Washburn's a big kid. He gets a lot of rebounds. They're leading rebounder, but he's not the great physical rebounder that you see in Iowa is in there right now, out-quicking him inside.
Roy Marble hit 76% of his free throws, so that was a rare miss.
We had Michigan earlier in their year.
Missed them both.
Excuse me, earlier.
Look at Lorenzen get inside. Oh, that'll make Valvano mad. You let a guy sneak in there on an offensive rebound. Iowa out rebounding North Carolina State right now 9-5. 29-18.
Most of it on that offensive glass.
That's the biggest lead of the day for Iowa. 11 points. McMillan gets it back. That's his first field goal.
Well, he's Mr. Everything for this club at 6'5", 190. Second in the conference in steals, was third in assists. Jeff Moe, a good outside shooter, as I mentioned, started the last 2 ball games.
Inside they go again, and again they're successful.
Boy, Wright is killing them down low. Just the same as Washburn for the points that they're getting is hurting the Hawkeyes when he gets it.
I'm a little surprised to see that.
Well, you have power on this end with Washburn offensively, and Wright, it's quickness, and he's also got a little power with that quickness.
Lorenzen had Moe open deep, but just couldn't get him the pass. Banks will back it out and set up. We got a reach-in foul that time. Kelsey Weems off the bench for NC State gets his first foul. Now we get into the bonus situation. Iowa's in it. 7 team fouls on North Carolina State. Only 3 team fouls on Iowa. Valvano's going to make 2 substitutions as well. Weems will come right back out.
It's been a fast-paced game in this first half. Both clubs going up and down.
Washburn's going to get a rest. Chucky Brown comes in for him. And there's Gary Wright from San Bernardino.
In double figures already with Levin.
Got them both. And again, Iowa stretches it back out. 33-20 now. That's the biggest lead they've had as the clock moves down to 7 minutes.
The Gary Wright and the Chris Washburn show here in the first half. Now we're sticking that 2-3 matchup zone. Tough shot, gets it down.
Yeah. Almost looked like he lost control of that ball as he was starting to shoot it, and it still went in.
Well, Bolton's been carrying this club the last 4 or 5 games with his shooting. Has shot very well outside.
There's another foul inside, and it's going to be Shackelford who gets called. It'll be his second personal. So 2 on Shackelford, 2 on Bolton, and 2 on Washburn, the starting front line. I talked to Valvano yesterday, and he said that he loves the NCAA tournament since he watched it as a kid, watched John Wooden's team win at College Park that year with UCLA. And he said he thinks that this is the time of the year in this tournament when coaches have more control over the destiny of games, where you really get a chance to coach. He said in the regular season, sometimes you won't take a kid out. You be careful because you don't want to bruise his ego. But now you're down to nitty-gritty time. It's time to win or lose, and kids have to understand that you're going to make the moves that are going to keep you alive tomorrow.
Horton missing 2 free throws there. It only shoots about 46% from the free throw line, but has made his presence felt in the latter part of the season. He's seeing more playing time. It's a strong rebounder.
It's an 11-point lead for Iowa. Wow. A lot of hacking going on that one. They were chopping trees out there, Iowa.
Andre Banks right there. The Hawkeyes getting together. He really took a swing.
That's his first foul, and he got his money's worth. Only the 14th foul.
You mentioned Andre Banks coming on. He's only had 46 turnovers this year from the point guard role, which is really a significant improvement. Now, he's not the kind of point guard that does a lot of things for you. They'll penetrate real strong and create a lot of things, but he's handling the ball, taking care of it, and not making turnovers.
Telegraphed that pass, and we have a scramble. NC State got it and still can't hit. I believe the foul came before the shot. The basket won't count. Now Lorenzen gets called for it in that scramble inside.
You see a lot of strong action here on the board. Both clubs now hitting. Going inside, right, trying to come over the top, deflected away. Look at that scramble for it. Ball comes out of there. Non-contact sport, they say. Up, off, and there Lorenzen coming over the top right there, and you see really belting them.
Right there on the left of your screen, you can see Iowa's coach, George Raveling. He was just working that official who called the foul furiously about what he's not calling inside. Jeff Moe with his first foul. Again, North Carolina State trying to get something, and they can't get it.
Well, now the Wolfpack doing a good job on the offensive glass.
Lorenzen's going to get called for another foul.
It looked like that time that Iowa set in a 1-3-1.
That's 3 on him. He'll come out.
Well, this is where Horton may be a real factor. Lorenzen 3 fouls. Horton strong on the boards. He's had 2 12-rebound games out of his last 6, and he's a kid that likes to battle, and he will not back off of anybody.
McMillan is the line to shoot a 1-and-1. You see his free throw percentage there, 77.
McMillan, a hometown product right out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Junior college All-American.
Made them both. 33-24 Iowa. Clock shows 5.5 minutes left to go in this first half.
Hawkeyes were able to get that 10-point lead, and they just kind of hung on right there, 8-10.
Got the ball loose. Can they get control? Shackelford almost walked.
Iowa back now 2-3. Good bounce pass in away from the defensive man.
NC State's ball underneath the basket. Washburn missed the last shot. I think he's a little disgusted with himself.
And the play has turned around now. North Carolina State really going tough on the offensive glass. They've been getting second or third attempts the last 3 or 4 possessions.
Whistle and a conversion. Devion Benz.
Well, Wright lost his concentration that time. The pass went out and he stood there not ready to take the man coming in. Benz just stood there wide open, got the ball, took it up on him.
5:05 left to go here in the first half. Both teams in the bonus situation. Iowa up by 7. Missed it, but North Carolina State gets it back. Shackelford makes it a 4-point play.
I think it was Washburn that kept that ball alive. Went over the top, got a hand on it just to keep it alive, and then Shackelford got it down.
The Iowa lead is 5. It was as much as 13, so NC State has fought back.
North Carolina State picking up their defensive intensity right there. Myers really working outside hard.
Bill Jones has 2 field goals now and 4 points. Here comes that trap again, but they just kind of relax him. Almost thrown away.
Beautiful.
Look at that pass. Washburn can't get anything with it. Lost the handle.
That was Shackelford with that left hand behind the back pass.
McMillan missed the shot. Jones will get the foul. McMillan will get 2 shots at the line.
Well, people are getting their money's worth in basketball today here in Minneapolis. There's been some outstanding play.
Five points for Nate McMillan now.
3 for 3 from the line, going for 4.
6'5", 190-pound senior. There's a timeout on the court with the score. Iowa 35, North Carolina State 29. The Wolfpack fans are celebrating. Down by 13 points, the Pack has come back to close the lead to 5 with just over 4 minutes left to go in the first half. I'm Frank Herzog with Gary Thompson. We've seen 2 teams battle here so far tonight. Good shooting, too.
Well, yes, Iowa 15 to 22, 68%. North Carolina 13 for 22 for 59%. But on that battle on the boards, Iowa Hawkeyes are still winning it. They've got 16 rebounds in this first half to the Wolfpack's 12.
That Wolfpack zone hasn't been very effective. In fact, Valvano talked about the fact that his 6 of his last 7 games he lost going with conventional defenses, and we expected him to go to more what he calls junk defenses. Triangles and 2s, box and 1 in this tournament, just simply because it seemed to work better.
Well, Iowa's a tough club to maybe like box and 1. You could probably get box and 1 on Marble, but they're well balanced. Marble leads the club with 12 points as the high man, so they've got good balance in their scoring.
Yeah. We're down to 4 minutes left to go in the first half. State still in that zone, packing it in. Daring the outside shot, but Iowa's not only forgotten that, they've gone inside just like that. Look at Lowhouse keep it alive. Iowa players jumping everywhere. Gary Wright gets back out on the floor.
Iowa attacking against that zone, attacking down on that baseline. Well, there's a kid, Binns. When he gets in a ball game, something usually happens. He's a very effective player.
Shackelford with his 3rd field goal and 6 points. And it's down to a 3-point Iowa lead with 3.5 minutes to play.
Wolfpack was very aggressive play when they've been making this comeback.
They have quieted the Iowa crowd a bit, too.
Well, that, and I think need to get Wright back in the offense and get it down and inside. There he gets it.
Didn't get the shot, though. It'll be North Carolina State ball.
Well, the Iowa crowd doesn't like it. I looked at Marble, and he was pointed, but he didn't really argue on the call, so maybe he did get a piece of it.
Gary, looks like Iowa's just kind of showing that trapping defense, but they haven't really gone to it, like they're teasing State.
When they come down, they back off into a 2-3 and then a 2-3 matchup.
Banks backs it back out, sets up. Plenty of time on the shot clock. It's at 25 seconds. That's his shot, isn't it?
Good ball reversal that time by Jones, getting to the Banks at the top of the key. That shot's going to be there.
Back to a 5 it goes. Banks now with 10 points. And the clock is down to 2 minutes left in the first half. A lot of people above the rim, but nobody can hold on to the ball. And now out of bounds he steps. He says he was pushed. George Raveling's going crazy on the other side. Said he was pushed out of bounds, forced out. The officials won't call it. You know what? I think Raveling's right. Marble was pushed out of bounds. Let's take a look. We've got a replay.
Well, you either got only 2 choices, either out of bounds or else it's a foul. And you see there, he's trying to step out, gives him a little hip.
Devian Binns knocked him out of bounds. Should have been a foul.
Really, on that play, I think it looked to me like the ball was in. Now, when he goes out, he can't come back in and save the ball. Somebody else would have had to come in and get it.
Breakaway. Suddenly, the bodies are really starting to fly. Lowhouse really hit the floor hard underneath there. He got undercut by a North Carolina State player.
Well, let's see this play here. Good breakaway pass to Jones. Myers coming from behind does a good job right here of coming around from the side and getting the foul rather than getting intentional in the push from behind. Smart play by Myers to keep away from the two shot and then either getting the ball out of bounds or getting the extra 2 free throws. That new rule they put in where it's an intentional foul when you grab the guy in the act of shooting is a good rule. It saves them, in that case, somebody coming from behind and pushing a player and getting somebody really hurt. It does make for some problems when you don't have those kind of plays that are right out in front of you for the officials, because it becomes a judgment call on their part.
Made them both. He has 6 points. Iowa leads 39-32. You see the time remaining, 100 seconds. That's in the first half. The floor here is elevated about 30 inches above the artificial turf on which the Vikings play.
Good patience showing right now by the Wolfpack.
Look at that crowd in the paint, though. Iowa's really got it jammed in. McMillan. With his 8th point, that's only his 2nd field goal. Steele. Oh! What a follow by Chucky Brown.
Chucky Brown just coming to that offensive glass, and that's got George Raveling concerned.
Now he wants, Raveling has told him, bring it out. Let's run it down.
Well, we've got 30, there's about 10 seconds difference. So what he's going to do is play the ball down, minimize the seconds that North Carolina State can have the basketball to come down and attempt to score right before the half.
State's going to stay back there.
Well, it's been quite a reversal on offensive rebounding. Now, Hawkeyes had it when they pushed to the lead, and now North Carolina State has cut it back to 3 on that offensive glass.
Banks just missed a jumper. We've got a 3-point game. NC State trying to claw its way back. Down by 13 at one point in this first half. With 2 seconds left, there's the shot. The horn will sound. They can get no closer than 3, but that's a psychological victory of a sort. Jim Valvano has to be happy. His team at one point was down 13 to Iowa. Those rebounding figures would have been much different.
That's right.
North Carolina State hit the boards at the end of the half to even them up. There's the Iowa scoring. The only guy in foul trouble, Al Lorenz in the big center with 3 personal fouls. Wright and Banks the leaders. And for North Carolina State, Washburn the leader. He, Shackelford, and Bolton, the starting front line, each with 2 fouls. See the scoring spread out there.
Iowa didn't get any offense off their bench for the players that were in there. Did not score. North Carolina State had 4 points. 2 by Chucky Brown on that follow stuff that we showed, and then by Binns. He was 1 for 1.
I'm Frank Herzog, along with Gary Thompson in snowy Minnesota. Good crowd, 30,000 people here. I did not get a crowd figure yet from Syracuse, the Carrier Dome. With Syracuse playing there, their crowd was supposed to be pretty large, but this crowd is a near record, certainly number 2 to Syracuse probably, for record for the opening round. Largely pro-Iowa, although there are pockets here, North Carolina State, Akron. Jim Valvano sits down with his assistant coaches, Tom Abatamarco on the right. Iowa to start control. North Carolina State, in case of a jump ball, will have the procession rule on their side here at the start of the second half. Man-to-man defense this time by North Carolina State. They've gotten out of the zone. Bolton with a rebound, and he hands to Nate McMillan. Navy beat Tulsa today. Night Heat is 68. Maryland over Pepperdine, 69-61.
Iowa staying in that 2-3 in the matchup. Tough shot, fading one way, but it gets the roll.
Oh, didn't it? Nice bounce for McMillan.
Let's watch this defense. I thought last time that they were in a zone, and it looked like Bolton was going head up with Wright.
Steal by Jones.
Boy, that's a killer play. That really hurts you when you come off, get a rebound, take out, and then somebody strips the ball, takes it back in for a layup. Good pressure.
Now a little bit more of that pressure defense by Iowa. They just kind of showed it to them in the first half. I think we'll see George Raveling kind of turning in the screws here in the second half, tightening that defense up.
They've got Wright on Washburn now, and they've Lorenzen over on Shackelford. Let's see if they ever try to attack Lorenzen to Shackelford. Try and pick up that 4th foul. Forces it up, gets it.
Yeah. Another pretty shot by Benny Bolton. He has 6 points now. Marble underneath, stripped, but a foul. Washburn says, who, me? It will not be him. It's Nate McMillan. That's his first personal foul. 41-40. Iowa leads. Their lead at one point was as many as 13. 33-20. NC State came back to cut it at 3 at the half. And now we've just started the second half.
Marble with only 4 points in that first half. Had a career high 29 against Arkansas Little Rock. Of course, they will go in the second game against Notre Dame.
He's 1 for 4 at the foul line tonight.
And normally a good free throw shooter, 75+%.
Now North Carolina State with a chance to tie.
Boy, Banks thought he had one on the steal right there. Just did not get there quite in time. Good pass inside to the big guy.
Somebody yelled. Bolton can't get the follow. That's a war under there. That's a war.
It is. It's been that way. They're letting them play and go at it. Oh, what a play by Marble.
Oh, my goodness. That brought George Raveling up off of his little stool over there at the side. Fists in the air.
That brought some Hawkeye fans off their seats, too. Watch here. Andre Banks, good lead pass. Marble gets it, knifes his way through, comes around, double clutches, takes it away from the defensive man, and able to still get it in the basket for 2.
Got a chance for a 3-point play now. McMillan on the foul.
Started to say earlier in the first half about his being from Flint, Michigan. He was runner-up Mr. Basketball in that state to Glenn Rice, who's tremendous talent for Michigan.
Iowa's ball. Marble now 1 for 5 at the line. A 76% free throw shooter, and he's 1 for 5 tonight. Benny Bolton said, no, I didn't touch him, and if I did, I didn't mean to. That's 3 on him. Three quick team fouls on North Carolina State. None on Iowa so far, and Iowa has a 4-point lead. Marble can put him up by 6. He's only made 1 free throw out of 5. There he goes.
Good look at Roy Marble. Great All-American in high school. One of the most sought-after recruits. In fact, George Raveling had a great recruiting year.
I can't get over how young this team is. They're both young, but his is really young.
P.J. Thomas probably next year will take over the point position, the freshman. And he had Horton. Jones he got last year. Good recruiter.
NC State had that lead card down to 1 point. It's ballooned back up to 5 now. Bolton with a tough shot in traffic.
He gives them another dimension because Bolton can go outside. Only had 4 in the first half. But coming back, he's got good shooting touch from outside. Iowa having pretty good patience. You know, half-court game. Oh,
wow. He walked. I don't know if he did or not.
It's one of those unusual moves.
Yeah.
I really didn't think that he walked when I looked at it in live right here.
It's such a flashy action, though. The official immediately called a walk. 16 minutes, 45 seconds left to go in the ball game. 45-42. Iowa leads. NC State can again cut the lead to 1. You see the NC State bench there on the far side. They are now sitting up on the edge of the floor. They're no longer sitting in the seats. Jones knocked the ball out of bounds, intended for Washburn. Probably stopped another slam dunk there.
Jones definitely saved a couple. Good hustling defense. 1, 2, or 3 shots again. Oh, we've got to travel.
Walking. Marble says somebody grabbed my jersey and pulled me down.
Albano, he's up working the sideline. He wanted a foul on that series of putbacks. There he is. And the backside's open. He missed him. Washburn had his man sealed off for a lob pass again. Wright really hustling inside.
McMillan, that will help soften up that zone a bit. His 12th point. Now it's 45-44, a 1-point ball game again. Iowa has seemed to be able to step on the accelerator and pull away from the Wolfpack. We'll see if they've got any gas left this time.
Boy, it's just power against power. Beautiful pass. Marble put it out there away from the defensive man. Let him go get the ball and then put it up off the glass.
That's Wright's first bucket of the second half.
And they can get the ball to Wright a little bit more. I think they're going to have a lot of success.
Bolton with a drive, and we got a blocking call. A chance for Benny Bolton to make a 3-point play.
Bolton starting to assert himself right now. He only had 4. He's gone to the double figure mark with that last basket. 10 points. Chance to add to it.
Gary Wright now with 3 personal fouls. He and Lorenzen are the only 2 Hawkeyes in foul trouble.
First free throw attempt for Benny Bolton.
He's got his 3-point play. And guess what? We got a tie ball game.
This game has settled down to a half-court game. We haven't seen much transition baskets since early in the first half.
That's a good point.
And normally that's not in Iowa's favor, although the last 2 ball games they played, my understanding is they played a good half-court game, but that's what got into against Purdue and Illinois.
This is the 4th tie of the night at 47. North Carolina State can take the lead now for the first time since the opening minutes of the game. Whistle, it'll be Iowa's ball. Timeout. There's a timeout on the court with a score. North Carolina State 47, Iowa 47.
And a good pass inside. Wright seals his man off, then releases. Marble makes a great pass away from the defensive man. Lets Gary Wright go to the ball and get it and take it up off the glass. But North Carolina State's rebounding, coming back stronger than ever in the second half. There are 27 rebounds now to Iowa's 21.
You can see Nate McMillan starting to take charge a little bit more for the Wolfpack as well. Virginia coach Terry Hollins called him the most unsung player in the ACC this year. He has 210 assists, does it all, and he could fill a void. I've heard a lot of people say that if NC State has a problem, they don't have a take-charge guy. McMillan can be that guy.
Well, he's Mr. Everything in it for him. And when you mention he's only the 2nd player in North Carolina State history with over 200 assists. The other one, over 200, was Sidney Lowe. He had 273.
That was in that championship year. Ball's on the floor. Who can get it? Off North Carolina State. Look at George Raveling, still sitting on that little black stool over there at the side of the court.
Brad Lohaus to his right as they're sitting down below the court level. Boy,
Get the best seat in the house, doesn't he?
Officials have been letting him go, letting him play. And a good officiated game because they've been consistent.
Raveling invited Valvano out to dinner last night. I don't know if they were able to get together or not because of the messed up practice schedule, but they're good friends. You know, George Raveling is also an acquaintance of Chris Washburn. hit him with a basketball once. I believe it was at the 5-star basketball camp. Raveling was doing a clinic. Washburn was seated in the front row, and he was sleeping.
Well, look at it. Look at Raveling smile. He's looking down at Valvano. Valvano's got a white towel out. Raveling's got a white towel out. I'm just guessing that maybe he waved the white towel at Valvano.
Anyway, George Raveling's at the basketball camp. Chris Washburn falls asleep in the front row, and Raveling threw a basketball at him to wake him up because he wasn't recruiting him. He said he was going to remind Chris Washburn of that, but he was going to do it after the game. Marble hits 2. 49-47.
Iowa continues to come with that press and that 1-2-2, but again, they've not bothered North Carolina State that much up here at the 3-quarter mark, but have given some problems back here in the half court with it.
Andre Banks picks up his second foul. Good hustle, says George Raveling. He likes it. Moe is back in the ball game for Iowa. Good little outside shooter. Clock shows 13 minutes, 50 seconds left to go. North Carolina State cut a 13-point lead down and tied it 47. Now Iowa has taken a 2-point lead again. Iowa has seemed to have the juice tonight to be able to pull away from the Wolfpack every time they catch up. And there it is again. Stripped to the ball and a foul, a reach in.
And that's the 4th on Bolton.
Grabbing foul like that using his hands. I'm wondering if NC State didn't look a little tired.
Well, it's been a war out there for sure.
Valvano was worried about that. He's concerned about his team being tired at the end of the season. Iowa's ball.
Start seeing some kids reaching over and grabbing their pants. That's usually an indicator that they are getting tired.
Oh, that was a brick. NC State just there. They finally got it. Can't seem to pick the ball up. Now McMillan will bring it up and set it up.
Good hustle by Marble, though, even though he didn't come up with the ball.
Again, they can tie here.
I was just going to say, Marble out there extending the defense just a little higher. Then he saw where his position was and immediately dropped back. Good lob pass.
Yeah. Now, that's the first bucket for Shackelford here in the second half. He has 8 points. And again, we're tied at 49. 5th tie.
Iowa will give that up, that lob, but they've got good athletes in there behind. They look for the offside help to come and jam that play up and control it. But North Carolina State attacking it real well.
Lorenzen gets a foul from Myers. That's 2 on him. The foul situation is becoming important now for North Carolina State. That will be the 6th team foul. So Iowa's going to go into the bonus with the next foul on North Carolina State. Iowa, on the other hand, has but 2 team fouls. Definite advantage for them with 12 minutes left to go in the game. 12 and a half.
Well, it certainly is, particularly when you're playing down inside the paint, both clubs, and every time you get a shot, you're a threat to get a foul and go to that free throw line. Good look at Al Lorenzen right there, was Mr. Basketball in Iowa. Played forward his freshman season, but this year has had 28 starts at the center position.
50-49 Iowa.
That's the reason he was at forward rather than center. Iowa had a young man by the name of Stokes in there last season.
Iowa continues to play that zone. Come out and challenge the man and then back up inside. North Carolina State hasn't been nearly as effective inside as Iowa. Washburn with a steal. We got a foul.
Boy, there would have been a great play. Washburn showing his court presence in there. Got the ball, just reached out with his hand and flicked the pass back in underneath. Just watch the athletic ability right here. The shot will go up, doesn't get it. We'll get jarred loose now, and watch Washburn on here as it comes up high. Gets loose. You see right there, he just whips that pass in there.
Yeah, it's a great pass. Kind of a little hook pass.
A lot of talent out on the floor on both clubs.
Gary Wright's going off the court now. He has 4 personal fouls. 4 personal fouls. There's your score, 50-49. That was only the third team foul on Iowa, so it's possession for North Carolina State.
Good look at Gary there, disappointed. He's a competitor, wants to play, and they need him because he can operate down inside with the ball. Had a strong first half.
North Carolina State with a new 45-second clock, so they'll set up their offense, try to go to work, try to go inside. Washburn, a 20-foot jump shot. I don't know if Jim Valvano wants his center taking 20-footers. Another foul inside. Shackelford gets the call.
Well, that should be a 1-on-1 situation.
Yes.
Now they see it.
That's 3 on Shackelford. 1-on-1 situation, bonus in effect. Now George Raveling has walked out onto the floor to talk to the officials about something. I don't know what he's asking about. He's upset about something. I guess he got the answer he wanted.
Well, George Raveling's got the big 7-footer in there, Brad Lohaus, a junior. He had Horton in there in the first half, maybe coming back with Lohaus, maybe a little bit more experience, he figures, even though Lohaus has not seen that much action this year.
Again, he missed the second. Whoa, goaltending. You see what Jim Valvano thinks.
Yeah, foolish play, and that's just what he's saying. He is hot.
Marble with 12 points now, courtesy of Shackelford. 53-49, a 4-point Iowa lead. NC State forcing things. They just don't. They don't look confident. I guess that's what I'm looking for, Gary.
Well, it's their game inside. That might not always look confident, but they have confidence in an inside game, and that's where they want it. It's not pretty always, but it's a power game inside, and that's the kind of club they have. They're not blessed with great outside shooting, so they're going to take it inside whenever they can.
Lorenzen with his 4th personal foul. Checking back into the game, Andre Banks for Iowa. Benny Bolton's at the line.
Going to get Lorenzen a break as he picks up his 4th foul.
Benny Bolton became a starter in the 7th game this year. Long-range shooter. We haven't seen much of that tonight. He hasn't been hitting tonight. He's out of the Morgan Wooten program at DeMatha High School in Hyattsville, Maryland.
Been in double figures 4 of the last 5 games. Now he's made it 5 of the last 6. Been in double figures 13 times on the season. And the rebounding advantage still goes to North Carolina State, 30-25.
13 points for Bolton. Iowa's lead is 2, 53-51. Again, that State zone, packing things inside.
Oh, he should have gotten rid of that ball earlier. He'd have had a Marble wide open.
Chucky Brown got up and blocked the pass and couldn't find a ball. It'll be Iowa's ball. Raveling kind of alternates. He looks so calm and peaceful. I've seen him hold his arms and legs, cross his legs, and then all of a sudden he'll be up and yelling. Iowa trying to stretch that lead back to 4.
And they're in. That offense just gets pushed in right to the free throw line.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's been all Bolton offensively for North Carolina State in the second half. They've somehow got to start getting the ball back to Washburn. I don't think he scored. No, Washburn 12 at the half has not scored here in the second half.
Yeah.
He's got to start seeing the basketball.
Whistle. Then we have a foul on the move. Andre Banks hit that long jumper a minute ago. That's his first bucket since the first half. And we're halfway through the second half. Raveling upset with his defense. Doesn't like the hands.
Iowa now with 5 team fouls, have one more to give before they put North Carolina State in the 1-on-1.
Ernie Myers trying to do something.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's a battle going underneath. It's men against men.
Myers with a shot. Washburn tried to tip. Iowa's got it.
No place for the faint-hearted underneath those boards. And Banks with 2 outside long jumpers.
14 points for Banks now, who averages about 10 a game. Bolton trying to force something, and we have another whistle on the drive. Horton, I believe, is going to get called for the foul. That's his second. There's a timeout of the court with a score. Iowa 57, North Carolina State 51.
Last year, an automotive writer said a Volvo Turbo could peel the skin off an Audi 5000S Turbo. What are they saying about our turbocharged Volvos this year?
The Volvo 740 Turbo drives sharp. It shadows your every move.
The 740 Turbo is a wonder, tickling the leading edge of the state-of-the-art.
The Volvo 740, still one of the world's great cars, regardless of price.
Volvos from $14,615 at Mid-America Motor Car Company, Cedar Rapids.
We asked what you liked about shopping at Econo Foods, and here's what you said.
Econo Foods to me is excellent quality in their produce and an excellent variety as well.
I like the price best.
I think it's convenient because you get a variety of the different types of foods at low prices.
The produce department is excellent. It's one of the finest, I think, probably one of the finest ones in the state.
Econo Foods, the big name for value and freshness.
Iowa had a 2-point lead against North Carolina State, and they've stretched it to 6. Outscored them 4-0 on 2 long jumpers by Andre Banks. North Carolina State's Wolfpack struggling in this game, while Bano's trying to get them going.
Field goal shooting percentage, Frank. Iowa's heated up a little bit more, 22 out of 38, 57%. North Carolina State, 22 for 44, and even 50%.
Well, you know, that's interesting because the shots there's such a difference. 6 more shots by North Carolina State, and still they trail by 6. There are 9 minutes, 32 seconds left to play in this opening round game between NC State and Iowa. North Carolina State got within 1 at 41-40, and then like they have all night long, Iowa just seemed to put their foot on the gas and pull away. They're up by 6. And they've done it differently each time. First they hit the offensive boards, and they went inside. This time it's been long-range shooting.
Listen to this crowd right now. As we said, the pro-Iowa crowd. There's backers from Iowa and Iowa State both here for this tournament, but they're really getting with it, trying to support them.
Now there's McMillan hitting from long range. His 14th point.
You know, I don't think we're going to see anybody. Isn't going to be a decision made here to go outside shooting and to open up the inside game. If you hit it from outside, that's going to be it. Neither club, I think, is going to come out and really pressure tough on the outside shooting. If you win from out there, that's the way it'll be.
There's North Carolina State, Shackelford getting the rebound.
They're banging the boards again, though. Second opportunities.
The lead is 4. They can cut it to 2. Frank Herzog along with Gary Thompson in Minneapolis. We've seen a war out here tonight, an inside battle. 2 zone defenses, and the 2 teams have just gone right inside, despite the fact that everything's packed in there, and battle the boards. The foul is on Ed Horton. That's his 3rd.
Raveling bringing Gary Wright back into the lineup right now with 4 fouls.
Missed the free throw. and stripped away. But there's Washburn. He had nowhere to go. Now he does.
And that's his first 2 of the second half.
There's a familiar face, Derek Wittenberg, who launched the final shot or pass, whatever, against Houston in 1983, which Lorenzo Charles jumped up and stuffed to give North Carolina State the championship over Houston.
Good hands, it looked that time, by Binns, making the deflection, and North Carolina State coming away with the steal.
They can tie here. So McMillan will bring it back out and set it up. Valvano's right at the edge of the court now, hollering out instructions for his offense.
Good penetration that time by McMillan. Drew the defense in, pitched out, got the wide open shot.
Devion Binns, his 4th point.
Thing that Iowa has to do right here is have patience right now. I don't have to force things. This game has been played at a half-court game, which you said is not normally to the liking of Iowa, but one of their problems is not had patience.
There's Marble, but he can't get it. Binns has got the ball. We're tied now for the 6th time tonight. And this time, North Carolina State can do something different. They can take the lead. They led 2-0, 4-0, and 6-0 in the game. And that was the last time. They've been able to tie at 47, at 49, and again at 57 here in the second half.
See if they aren't looking for Washburn. He's trying to post up in there on Lohaus.
Lohaus trying to stay in front of him.
Washburn comes high, going to look high to low.
Pretty shot.
That's what their guards do so well. Get it off there, penetrate in, get an 8-9-foot shot.
Myers, who averages 9.5 points a game, now has 4. That's his first field goal of the second half. And we've got 6:45 to play. NC State leads by 2 for the first time since early in the ball game. And Iowa, George Raveling wants to talk about it. He wants to talk at some of the officials, too, I think. There's a timeout on the court with the score. North Carolina State 59, Iowa 57. Minneapolis, this is just the 3rd in the succession of great games. You see the time remaining, and NC State leads for the first time since the first half. Here's how they did it.
You're going to see, and this Myers penetrating in, instead of a little short jumper, is reverse the ball. Good penetration. They have big guards, and they said they get inside the 15-foot mark for that little jumper.
Myers, you know, is the only player left on the floor from that 83 championship team.
See, they got Wright in there. I think Wright for Iowa needs to start seeing the ball a little bit more. He's got the quickness if they can get it inside.
They put 44 Al Lorenzen back in the middle.
And he's got Washburn covering him right there on that side of the zone.
There goes Marble to the hoop. Air ball. And Shackelford has the rebound.
A lot of big people in there, forcing him to arch it a little higher. Didn't draw iron.
Interesting, another change. At one point, NC State was in foul trouble with 17 fouls, and Iowa had but 2.
Oh, what a stop. Oh, if Washburn can't get it from his teammate, he's going to get it himself, and that's what a good player will do if they're shutting him down.
Lorenzen. NC State with its biggest lead since the first half, 4 points.
Iowa, the last couple, 3 possessions, are trying to force things a little bit too much. But they're just having some patience, moving the ball around. There's a good shot.
Can't get it to drop. Washburn with a good rebound. Held on to it. Good concentration that time. 33 rebounds to 26 for Iowa.
When you feel the momentum now, North Carolina State finally breaking through, and you feel that momentum. Omo switching to the other side.
Valvano's really working on the far side there, trying to get a good shot here. This is a critical possession. State could put it up by 6 here. They can't get a good shot from Washburn. Banks, he's had a hot hand. Pretty dish. Whistle beforehand. Raveling's going crazy. Look at him. He wants to cry. Oh, the coach. He wears his heart right out there in the front of that warm-up, doesn't he?
These are big plays. 4:46 to go. Every play, a big play from here on in.
And he wants a timeout. There's a timeout on the floor with the score. North Carolina State 61, Iowa 57.
Off to not let him get that step, release and go to the basket. Check him off high so he can't get that step and up over the top. Go back to good fundamental position and rebounding. It's pretty tough to beat.
Iowa has not scored in the last 2 minutes of this ball game when it was tied at 57. A save and a pretty save. Here comes Iowa. Banks stripped away. No foul. Raveling's upset again. He wanted a foul, and I think he may have a point.
Good play by McMillan either way, since it wasn't called to save it.
If you can't see it, you can't call it, right?
Good save by Marble on this end. Watch him. He knows he can't center it back in. He's looking and then gets it out over everybody. And a Keys a fast break situation. Here's Andre Banks. Comes off to the side. Probably right there should have taken the ball a little bit deeper on the break, because Wright had not passed the defensive man, was not behind him or even with him. Gave the defensive man a chance to recover.
Jeff Moe hits the long jumper. His first field goal of the night. And Iowa's within 2, 61-59.
Well, this is what Moe will bring to this Iowa team. He can come off, and he can hit the outside shot. Good shooter.
Look at the scramble. Nice some floor birds out of that. Colton to Washburn. Shackelford.
Well, they finally got it done. They had the numbers on Iowa.
Raveling's working those officials again. Concerned. Sits back down on that stool over there like a little crone. Marble. Got a whistle. They're going to call McMillan for it. You see Raveling still working him. He didn't like that call at the other end.
When we go down here, that's the fourth, and McMillan fouls are probably going to play an important part. And on the free throw shooting, Iowa, the last report was 16 to 22, 72%. North Carolina State 7 to 13 for 54%. Both clubs in the 1-and-1.
Roy Marble has gone to the foul line.
Boy, and he's been there 10 times. He's only converted 4, which is unusual. The freshman shooting 75%.
His team is down by 4, down by 3, as he's got his 13th point of the night. North Carolina State, again, Jim Valvano said their weakness is the last 5 minutes of a ball game. They lose control. Well, here they are under the 5-minute mark, and they've got a lead, a 3-point lead. Let's see if they can keep it.
Probably that statement resulting from the fact that they really don't have a true point guard.
Yeah.
North Carolina State reversing the ball here, always looking inside. Gary Wright, a good job there of jamming up, playing off his man, helping, probably kept the pass away from going inside to Washburn.
10 seconds on the shot
Washburn's
clock.
got position. Lorenzen's gone.
Al Lorenzen with his 5th personal foul. Comes at 2:53, and he's out of the ball game. George Raveling takes a look around at his bench and decide who he's going to go with.
Well, he's got a problem right now in the big men, because he's going to need offense depending on what happens here at the foul line. He could be down 5. He's going to come back with Horton, who's a good rebounder, strong inside, a freshman, but does not have the offensive potential.
Raveling went down and talked to his 2 assistant coaches. Said, what do you think? They said Horton. Chris Washburn to the line. They say he's really a freshman. Suspended last year in his freshman year, missed most of the season. What a tremendous athlete.
Oh,
what a bounce.
Good hands by Washburn just to make that catch, because it was tipped out and that ball was flying.
He's 0 for 3 at the foul line tonight. Keep that in your mental log. We'll get down to the final seconds and see if anybody has to be intentionally fouled.
Boy,
we're down to 2.5 minutes now.
Good job by Marble that time, cutting off the drive by Bolton.
They get it to Washburn.
Oh, he walked.
He did. He hopped. He says he was pushed. George Raveling says good call. Good call. All right, we got them where we want them. Iowa brings it up, trailing 63-60.
Big possession right here.
Moe's a good outside shooter.
Two things he's going to do is going to get you back to a one-point ball game, but it's really going to bring this crowd up.
Look at that rebound battle. Washburn with a block on Marble, and he lost the ball out of bounds. NC State's ball.
Good save by Washburn there. That was a cinch, too. Clean block.
Ravelli trying to save is forced out. They're not going to buy it. You know, I've never seen, have you ever seen a coach? Oh. Ooh, that's a big play.
Well, he gets it. That brings the crowd up. A little risky there to go on the backhand stuff.
Andre Banks with his 16th point. I was going to ask you, have you ever seen a coach win an argument with an official? Have you ever seen one say, hey, man, that wasn't right, and the official say, you know, you're right, I'm going to change the call?
Well, you're only going to win one if it's rules.
Yeah.
If it's a rule situation, you won't win any on interpretation or judgment. Here's Andre Banks up front. Right here, we'll see him come back. I think it was Andre takes in the passing lane, gets a hand on it, bounces off his leg, which really helps him, kicks the ball forward, comes up here, does the spin and a backhand stop.
Back to our live action. Iowa throwing a trap on now. Minute and 40 seconds to go. We got a one-point game. 63-62 North Carolina State. They trailed throughout the second half. In fact, they trailed for most of the game. They continually fought their way back to tie it, and then Iowa would pull away.
Raveling's up on the sideline, getting his hands up.
He's trying to get that crowd going.
Boy, and there's a mistake right there. Bolton, the 78% free throw shooter. You're running the clock down right where you can get possession of the basketball by playing good, solid defense, and you're going to send one of their best free throwers. Only one better is Ernie Myers at 85.
There's that part of that Iowa crowd. They're spread out all over this arena. 30,000.
Bolton 3 for 3 from the line.
A miss, a scramble.
Oh, and he comes up with it.
Another skip.
Oh, are they letting him play?
Off Bolton. And a foul on Bolton, and it's a good call.
And that's going to hurt North Carolina State. They miss a good free throw. I think that's his 5th foul.
Yes, it is.
We said fouls are going to play an important part. And look at the expression on Bolton right there. He goes out. Watch the scramble for this. Great action right here. His body's all over the place. Bolton makes a great save, comes out.
Here comes
the
foul
strip by
right
Moe.
there. See,
and he grabs onto him. Good call.
Good call by the officials. So Bolton is out with 1:17 seconds to go.
Good shot of Bolton right there, pointing to Moe as if say it's on him. It's on him.
Please.
Well, at this point, you're fighting for everything.
North Carolina State 63, Iowa 62. Moe will go to the foul line where he hits 82%, but he has not shot a free throw tonight and has but 2 points. Bolton, a picture of dejection. There's Derek Wittenberg there trying to console him.
Well, you got the best free throw shooter on the line for Iowa right now, 82%. Galvano trying to freeze a little bit by delaying on the substitute. Good play, save a timeout.
The guy he put in was Chucky Brown, 6 feet 7 inches tall, so he wants some rebounding here. 1-on-1 situation. He missed it.
Boy, pressure.
He missed it.
This is what NCAA play is all about. Excitement and pressure.
North Carolina rebounds. They lead the rebounding now 36-28. But more important, they lead on the scoreboard 63-62 with 1 minute to go. Benny Bolton looking on, dejected. Not much he can do now except cheer and hope, keep his fingers crossed.
Finished with 13 points. Bolton, that is. Iowa now got to play good, solid defense. 28 seconds on the 45-second clock. They're going to for sure get the ball back. And now Ravelli making some substitutions on defense. Brings Jones back in the lineup, a better defensive player with much more quickness, better jumping ability.
Myers to inbound. That's Chris Washburn with the ball. Back to Myers. I thought he walked with it right there.
It was close.
Yeah. There's that trap by Iowa.
One thing you don't want to lose.
1-and-1 situation, 23 on the foul. 23 is Roy Marble, his third personal.
I don't know. I think he pointed to right, and if that's it, Wright is leaving the game. That'd be his fifth.
You're right. I stand corrected. I thought he said 23. That is 3. And Gary Wright's gone with 53 seconds left.
Wright goes out with 15. He had 13 at halftime by Wright, so they shut him off, and Iowa unable to get the ball to Gary Wright.
Raveling wants to talk about it. He wants to ice Chris Washburn. So he's called a timeout. Let the big guy think about it. The big guy tonight has gone 0 for 3 at the foul line. He's a 67% shooter in this season at North Carolina State.
And we've had a number of missed free throw opportunities down the stretch here. Now Bolton missed one, then Moe went to the line, missed one.
We wish to take this opportunity to thank NCAA Basketball Committee Representative Dave Hart, Tournament Manager Jerry Bell, Tournament Media Coordinator Robert Peterson, Athletic Director Bump Elliott of Iowa, Head Basketball Coach George Raveling and his staff, and Sports Information Director George Wine. And from North Carolina State, Athletic Director Willis R. Casey, Head Basketball Coach Jim Valvano and his staff, and Sports Information Director Ed Seaman. Transportation arrangements made through Fugazi International Travel, the official travel agency for NCAA championships. "53 seconds left to go. You see the time in the lower right corner of your screen. And you see the score. NC State 63, Iowa 62.
In these type of games, it always gets down to that foul line. Who can convert? And again, that's been the downfall for North Carolina State. They haven't shot as many free throws, but they're only 7 out of 15, 46%. Iowa's hit 17 out of 23, 73%, but just missed on a crucial one on the 1-and-1 by Moe.
Again, Jim Valvano worries more about the end of the game and his young North Carolina State team than anything else. He's trying to fire them up here.
Well, if you're an Iowa fan right now, you're hoping that, at best, that Washburn makes 1 out of the 2, so you can get possession with a chance to tie.
Washburn to the line, where he's 0 for 3 tonight. From Hickory, North Carolina.
It's a big free throw.
Is that called clutch? 17 points now for Washburn as he hits the front end of a 1-and-1.
And that's just about his average, 17.4, the 5th leading scorer in the ACC conference. Gets 2.
3-point lead for North Carolina State. 52 seconds to go. Iowa needs a quick shot. Marble.
Boy, Marble really forced his way in. He just attacked that basket. And we mentioned at the top of the show about when it's game time, he wants the basketball, and he really went to the hoop with it.
Valvano wanted a traveling call there. He says he walks.
These coaches want everything right now.
Right.
No matter what's called, they're going to want something else that helps their team.
Now, Valvano told me yesterday that this situation is what he wants. He wants a 1-point lead. He'll be happy with a 1-point lead now with time running down. The shot clock is no longer a factor. There's 41 seconds left. He's happy with this. Let's remind you that this telecast is a production of the NCAA Communications Department. David E. K. Wood, Assistant Executive Director. The executive producer of NCAA Productions is James A. Marchioni. Our game tonight was produced by Willard McDonald, directed by Brian Seif. Productions coordinator Kathy K. Bennett. Statistics all day long by Ted Tedesco. Nice job. Thank you. I'm Frank Herzog along with Gary Thompson, and we've seen a couple of great games here in Minneapolis today. This has been the big guns. This has been the big one. Back and forth, up and down the floor they've gone, challenging inside, shooting outside. It's been tremendous.
Well, just reviewing those other 2 games we saw on those scores, we'll give them to them. Michigan beat Akron 70-64. Iowa State beat Miami of Ohio 81-79 in overtime. Those were the 2 afternoon games. A couple other scores. Maryland beat Pepperdine 69-61, and Navy laid it on Tulsa 90-68.
I'm surprised by that score. Tulsa's a good team. Navy's got the big Dave Robinson.
Right.
I would imagine Navy now must face Syracuse, huh? That could be a tall order in the Carrier Dome.
North Carolina State, it's not easy to control the basketball, but they've got the 45-second shot clock is off.
41 seconds to go. They got to beat this full court press by Iowa.
George Raveling got his defensive team a reserve. Michael Reeves is one of his outstanding defensive people, and he gets his hands on it. And they got a man open wide underneath. They leave the back door open.
And he's fouled. Jones fouls Washburn. They were just a half second away from having a monster dunk.
Good hustle that time by Jones just to save it. At least have to go to the line. As Iowa committed out too far on the back man protecting, left it wide open. Good strategy there by George Raveling, though, getting Reeves in the lineup. Michael Reeves, a sophomore, almost picked it off and had the steal.
2 shots for Washburn. Fouled in the act of shooting. Oh.
Now you can see what that hustle by Jones meant there to put him on the line. Not give him the easy one.
29 seconds left.
Boy, misses both. And what a...
Oh, there's a call. It goes the other way. North Carolina State got it.
Boy, that looked like one of two things, that it had to be a foul. Maybe we can't see completely out of bounds. It looked like it rolled off of North Carolina State.
I thought it went off of Chucky Brown, but
yeah,
the official may have ruled it an Iowa
right
player
there.
knocked it out. He's right there. That's right. Now NC State with 26 seconds left to go turns it over. And Iowa has a chance to win. 65-64. They're down 1.
Got plenty of time.
Maybe he shot too soon. We got a foul underneath on the rebound. And it's Roy Marble, I think, who created it. Jackson's going to be called for the foul.
Well, I don't want to take anything away from Andre Banks, but they had quite a bit of time on there. Andre, not normally the outside shooter. You'll see him here. Let's see where he gets in penetration. Backs out. He's got an 18-footer. Little off balance as shoots it. Think they had time to go for something better. Look inside, maybe get the foul as they're only down 1. Marble was so effective last time on just taking the ball in a power drive situation.
Well, now North Carolina State has decided to call a timeout to ice Marble. Meanwhile, Valdano, I think, called a timeout to find out from the officials what the foul was.
Well,
there's a timeout on the
I
court.
think he's wondering about 1-on-1 situation.
Our score, 65-64, NC State.
You say you want something quick for lunch?
We've got your meal.
Something for supper that'll satisfy a lot of different tastes?
We've got your meal.
Something good but priced right? We've got your meal at Shakey's. Shakey's gives you a variety of good food at reasonable prices. Enjoy our bunch of lunch or super supper buffets for less than $4. Shakey's at Kimball and Highway 412 in Waterloo and at University Avenue in Cedar Falls. Come on out. We've got your meal.
Spruce up your home with a fresh color of True Test paint during spring spruce-ups at True Value hardware stores. True Test Select Latex Flat Wall Finish dries quickly for high-hiding one-coat coverage. It's only $7.98 a gallon in white. And Select Bright White Sealing Latex features a non-yellowing formula that won't leave streaks or lap marks. It's the season's lowest price, just $7.98 a gallon during spring spruce-ups at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
The freshman superstar, Roy Marble. He broke Ronnie Lester's freshman scoring record by scoring 363 points in the regular season. He's been a starter since the 3rd game of the year. He's been the top scorer 8 times. He had 29 against Arkansas Little Rock during the season, and it all comes down to this. Number 23 strides out onto that floor, kind of shakes a hand and says, I need this. He'll lay back from that foul line until he goes up there to shoot free throws. 1-on-1 situation. There you see the numbers. He's 5 for 10 so far tonight. Actually, he's 5 for 11.
Iowa fans had to be breathing hard because I thought at first it was Marble going to be called.
Missed the 1-on-1.
He's had
Shackelford the rebound.
Bad night at the free throw line for Marble. They've got a foul.
They got to get it across the timeline. Iowa must foul, and we got a foul. Jones committed it. Look at Valdano. He's not too excited, is he? He smiled at the ref and said, don't mind me, I'm just crazy. Please, buddy, make them. The rest of you get back.
And we talked with George Raveling about this yesterday. He says, get back. Valvano's hollering about this situation. He says, if we get it on a miss situation, I just want our kids to come down and scramble.
Derek Wittenberg of the NC State bench yelling, no foul, don't foul. There's 5 seconds left to play. North Carolina State leads it by 1, 65-64, and they're going to get a shot at free throws.
Now you got McMillan on the line. He's been 4 for 4.
The officials are going over to the scoring table now just to make sure that the McMillan is the guy who should be shooting the free throws. Iowa brought it up that maybe he shouldn't be, since McMillan hit 77%.
Well, you've got Chucky Brown, a freshman, on that line. The one thing you've got to make sure you've told him, he's got 2 shots, and that gives him a tie, is to make sure that he would not go in and try for a missed free throw in this situation and pick up a foul.
We're going to put the picture of Jim Valvano there in the lower left-hand corner for you after this next free throw. Right now, George Raveling has called timeout. He wants McMillan to think about it. Plus, I think he wants to set that final play, huh?
He'll be doing, Valvano will, if he comes out of this, he'll be doing that 83 Albuquerque sprint right here if they win this one.
Raveling, I asked him the question yesterday. You got a 1-point game, 12 seconds left. Which do you want, the 1-point lead or the ball? And he said, where do I get the ball? I said, huh? He said, if there's 12 seconds left and I get the ball at the end of the court, I don't want it. I'll take the point lead. If I can have the ball at mid-court or three-quarter court, okay, I'll take it. So right now, Raveling is not comfortable with this situation because he's going to have to move the ball 94 feet in less than 5 seconds and get a good shot. But you know what? I'll bet you $1 to a donut that Iowa practices every day moving the ball 94 feet in 5 seconds.
Well, everybody's got that in their repertoire to come off with. You have to always look for that situation and be ready for it. They've got 5 seconds. A lot of time what they've got to hope for is that it's a miss. That's the only thing they can live on right here, is if McMillan can miss the free throw, and he's 5 for 5. And look at Valvano over there with his arms around Nate McMillan, talking to him,
the man
patting him on the back.
Certifiably hyperactive, has his own private company, his own show that's networked across the state of North Carolina and even up into the Washington area on cable, a radio talk show, a cookbook. He will become athletic director at North Carolina State. And there's very little else that he wants to do. Right now, he's right where he wants to be, at the side of a basketball floor, coaching a team in the NCAA tournament against a good friend in George Raveling, who sits at the other end and kind of seems to be saying, oh, come on. Missed the free throw.
Didn't check the shooter.
And he stepped out of bounds. McMillan stepped out of bounds with 3 seconds.
Break.
Yes.
Now let's see what happens. See if they got anything set up where they'll look to go to half court and call another
Stockton
time.
and Billy Packer. Dick?
Michigan may go as far as center Roy Tarpley can take them. Explosive on offense and intimidating on defense. Tarpley is the catalyst that makes the Wolverines